Hi, and welcome to the Creative Frugal Wonder Woman. This is January 2021 Copic Club, and I am so excited. First of all, I'm excited that 2020 is almost over. Well, by the time you guys watch this video, it will be over. Second of all, I'm excited about this month's Copic card. Look at this, you guys. Is she not the sweetest? This stamp set is called You Sleigh Me. It is by My Favorite Things, and it comes with 3 sayings. No, I'm with you even if I'm not there. I'm so glad we're friends, and you slay me. With this cute little girl and her little penguin that she's carrying on a sled. So I did up 2 cards this month. The first one is this is actually a card from a die. I think it's from Big Shot. And so the die is actually this part, and then I just folded it, and I used foam tape to punch her up a little bit so that my tag could just slip underneath. So this month you're getting the stamped image of the little girl from You Sleigh Me, and some of this cardstock from Dare to Be Artsy. Just love that. Love those colors. Love how it all comes together. The second card I made is with some old paper that I got last year from Echo Park. I think it's called Happy Winter. It was a pack. Just love it. And I love how we added the darker night scene, added some snow falling, and now I'll show you how I did that at the end of the video. So this month what you're getting is your hand stamped image to color, the cardstock, your newsletter with your marker list, your, excuse me, stuck together, your idea sheet. So if you wanted to change out and do this one, you could, using the other colors for her pants and scarf and hat and her coat. So, but this month I went ahead and I've done the blue with the red hat. So let's get started. So first, make sure that you have a clean sheet underneath you to absorb any ink. Remember, you always want that pad. You don't want anything porous underneath because the ink will come back up into your paper. We don't want that. First, we're going to start with YR000, and we're going to color her face. So I hope you guys had a blessed Christmas and everyone is doing well. We had another granddaughter born the week before Christmas. Super excited. The next color we're doing YR00, and we're going to just do some shading underneath her hat there. Now these colors are very close, so one of the things that I noticed is when I go to blend, you might want to come back and add some more of that YR00 underneath to add some more definition. Oh, sorry. We're adding R02 for her cheeks. And then coming back with the YR000 to blend. So cute. Just a little bit of rosy to those cheeks. And again, this is very close, the YR00. So if you wanted to come back and add some shading there for her forehead, you could. Add a little bit of definition. Next, we're going to go on to her hat, the scarf, some of the stripes on her scarf, and her pants. So we're going to use R01, and we're going to just do the whole base. So yeah, our oldest daughter, Stacy, she has 3 boys. And now she has her girl. We're so excited and blessed. It's a little scary. She wasn't due until the 29th. She ended up having a C-section the week before Christmas, but everyone is doing wonderful, and we are just so blessed to have the Kyle's party of 6 with their girl finally. So again, we're just laying down this base with the R01. Then we're going to take the R05, and we're going to, now these reds, they do not blend real great. You know, what is it with red? Red dye's not good for you. Reds just always give us a lot of trouble. So we're really, and we have a big difference between the R01 and the R05. So we're really adding that highlight of where the sun is coming. And so a highlight onto her hat. Now the R05, we're going to create this highlight across the collar there and right down the center of the scarf. So how we do that is we're going to come in from the top and the bottom on each section, just leaving a little bit of that R01 showing. And I'm just tapping. So I don't want to add too much color. I don't want to bleed. And then her pants, we're going to just create this real fine highlight on her knees, which is just cute. And the final red is R08. And we're just coming onto that deep side. So some of you, if you're from Michigan, are familiar with our expo that we have in Novi every Mother's Day weekend. Of course, with COVID, we haven't had it this weekend. In 2019, nor are we going to have it in 2021. 2020, 2021. Guess I can't color and talk at the same time, huh? But the woman that runs it and the one in Birch Run, she last year started a virtual event, and it is so cool. She's done a fabulous job, and I am going to be a part of that this year. So I'm excited and nervous all at once. So we're just taking the R01, going back, and we're blending. Oops. And if you wanted to lessen that line there between the R08 and the R05, you can come back with your R05 and just blend those together. The other ones look pretty good, but that looked a little harsh there on the hat. And then come back with my R01 and doing it again. So one of the things I found is you really want to make sure, and I think it's the paper that we're using, that paper that I got from Walmart. It's the Neiman, which a lot of people that use Copics, they love Nema paper. I have never really been a fan. I'm hoping to find my Basil White Smooth again, because that's my favorite. And I don't get that overload of ink just saturating into the other areas. So anyhow, step 3, we're going to go onto her coat and finish her scarf. We're going to start with BG01, and we're going to lay that down as our base. So the alternating stripes on her scarf. So anyhow, back to Kate and her Great Lakes scrapbook event. It is going to be the last weekend in January. You can go on Facebook and to the Great Lakes Scrapbook event and register. There's no cost to you to come. There's going to be just hundreds of vendors. Some will have videos, some will have just ads. Mine is a 15-minute video that I'm doing. There's going to be tons of giveaways and great videos and demonstrations, and just, it's awesome. I mean, it's almost as good as being there. So again, we're just laying the base down. For our jacket and alternating colors there. Next, we're going to go to BG02, and the same thing with the scarf. We're going to come down and go up, leaving that little bit of BG01 to show through in the center. Make sure when you're doing the piece coming down that you line it all up. Well, even the one around her neck, make sure that you're lining up the the darker colors, so that your stripe, your highlight from the sun is coming down at the same, whoops, forgot her jacket, coming down at the same location. Okay, so now we're going to just create some highlights onto her jacket, some highlight there on the sleeve, and I like to do around her pocket. Add some color onto the pocket that just creates some definition there. And you guys know there really is no right or wrong way. Just have fun with it. Enjoy. This is supposed to be relaxing. We all know that coloring is one of the greatest forms of therapy. So the final color in the jacket is BG05. Again, the scarf, we're just adding a little bit of that darker color at the top and the bottom. Follow that little crook in her elbow. Come down that seam. Just really create some shadow where her scarf is, so that we can add that, it's adding that layering dimension. And then we're going to come back with the BG01 and blend it all together. So you guys will have to watch for on my page, a Creative Frugal Wonder Woman, and I will let you know. I believe my video is due to be aired Saturday afternoon, if I remember correctly. Look at that. Isn't that just beautiful? I just love this blue. This blue combination, I'm just absolutely in love with. And the same thing with the green. That is a new, I just got that last color for the greens. It's the YG67 is the darkest, and I'm loving that one too. Got lots of new favorites here. Been using lots of markers. So now we're going to go on to her boots and the black portion of our penguin. And to do that, we're going to start with C0. And we're going to just, again, lay down the base. C0 goes down over the whole boot. and where the penguin would be black. Let me give it that. I'm not going to color it black. We want to have the highlights. So, okay, now, next we're going to do C3. Now, if you've used Copics for any amount of length of time, you may have gotten one that drips or puddles. I don't get this very often, but I did get it earlier when I did this card. So what I do, if you start seeing a big old glob of ink forming around the nib, you want to go ahead and just open up the other end. And I know that some people actually open both ends of their markers just in case, because they don't ever want to have a big old blob just screw up their whole art piece that they've done. I don't do that generally, but I know that this marker had some issues earlier today, so I want to make sure to do it so I don't have any trouble during the filming here. So we're going to just take the C3. Now see how nice it is? No trouble at all with that leaking out. So, and I'm not sure what creates that. It doesn't seem to be, I really don't know. I don't know why it happens. My markers are always stored vertical, horizontally, and I haven't refilled them, so, any of these recently, so that's not it. So I really, sometimes they say, well, it's because you overfilled it, or because it was all the ink had gone to that end, and I don't know. So anyhow, if you have one that's happening to, go ahead and take the cap off both ends. So now we're going to finish up with C7. We're going to add in our dark. So now this is really where we know that her boots are black. And you can do the sole too if you want. I love how you can really get into minute details with these tips. And then now we're going to make sure everyone knows that this is a penguin, and he is black there on his wings and his forehead. And then we're going to take our C3 again and just blend it all. Oh, not C3. Oh my goodness. Well, see, there's no mistakes in coloring. So I was supposed to use C0, not C3, but the top of this head will be just a little bit darker, and I went ahead and I blended that color, or that line, with the C3, which you can do if you have a harsh line like that. Now what I can do, because the C0 is lighter, if you're real careful and you don't add too much, you're pushing that color away and creating a highlight on his head. And you see it's starting to come over into the whiter section, so I don't want to do it too much. Just add a little bit of highlight there. So now we're going to do her hair. And we don't do this technique very often. In fact, some of you may have done this technique since your Copic 101 class. But we're going to do tip to tip. So what tip to tip is when we take two markers, generally two totally different colors, a light and a dark, and we're going to grab color from one marker and put it onto the other. So we're taking our E53 in our dominant hand, and we're going to pull E57. And then we're going to go ahead and apply that in her hair. And what this does, this makes it nice to give some variation into your coloring without, when you have a small area. So like this, his sled, to get two colors in there and then blend it would be difficult. So that makes it nice that we can just grab some marker off that, you know, some ink off that marker, and then what you want to do to clean it off, just go ahead and run it until you're back to your original color, and then you are good to go. And we're going to come back with the C0 and the C7, and we're going to do that same thing for the blade for the ski on the sled. So C0 pulling off C7, and then coloring. So again, we have a little variation. Scribble till it runs clean, and then put your cap back on. But in those small areas, that's really what the technique that you want to use. And you could use that same technique for his beak and his feet, but I went ahead and just colored in with YRO2, the whole thing, and then just added in the corner here. Some YRO7. Sorry, I didn't put that down, but it is on your sheet also. And then we can just blend it. Now we're almost finished up here. We're going to use BV00. See if I can get this in there. There we go. BV0000 and BG0000. And we are going to use these two colors. I love to use these for when you're trying to highlight some white. So we're going to take it and just add around the brim, and then our penguin, especially under his chin there. And then just take the BG0000. So blues and purple are what you want to use for shadowing and highlighting, especially whites. So we just added a little bit there. Okay, see how simple that was? How fast? So I love our little girl with her little sled that she's pulling her penguin, and I want to show you what I did to finish her off. So on this one, I used, if you can see here, on her buttons of her coat, I used the Viva Perlin pen, and it just creates a little pearl drop, okay? And then, can you see this shimmer? Is that not gorgeous? That is just a shimmer spritz from Imagine Crafts, and I got this from the same place that we got the stamp and the Perlin pen. So it's a cherry on top. So you will have the link in your newsletter of where to go to get that. So the stamp also has a coordinating die, so you wouldn't have to cut her out with scissors like I did. You could just use the die and cut her out. One thing I do want to mention, I just talked to James today at A Cherry on Top, and it shows on their website that the stamp is discontinued. That is not true. This is a new release. It was just released in November, and it's just simply out of stock. And they have called, while I was on the phone with them, he actually called the vendor, and they have more coming in January 7th. So they have one right now, and then they'll have more January 7th. So feel free to go ahead and it still shows on there that it's discontinued, please call A Cherry on Top and let them know that I sent you and that you want this stamp. So, okay. I also want to show you how I took and made her it looked like it was snowing, okay? So we took our markers and I created the dark around it so it's nighttime. And then I took our colorless blender and just a cheap paintbrush, and you take and add the colorless blender on there, and I just flicked it like this. And it creates a beautiful, just little spots. Then I went ahead and I took my white jelly pen, it's Milky Pop from Pentel, and added the snowflakes on top. So I just love, see if I can get a better picture. Here we go. I love how it just creates that beautiful nighttime snowy scene. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this month's Copic Club. I'm looking forward to already next month's and just hearing from you guys and what you think. And I can't wait to see you again soon. So until then, have a very blessed New Year's and take care. God bless.